and welcome to the My Ray of Sunshine podcast. My name is Mayra, and I'm here to help you receive the advice you deserve. Now, if you all are here, it's probably because you want to know exactly how to remain persistent and be hopeful even in your darkest moments. And that is why I have Adam here with me today. So, welcome, Adam.
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited for everything we'll be able to learn from you and to just have this great conversation.
That's the goal. I just want to help people with my experiences, and hopefully they feel encouraged by the end of it.
Yes, that is the goal. Motivation any way possible.
And if not, we'll just edit until we get motivation.
Yeah.
Edit.
I'll edit it. I'll tweak it. Don't worry. That's what's gonna come out of it. It has to.
Yep.
So, Adam, tell us a little bit about who you are and what your podcast is all about, or soon to be podcast.
Well, currently during the day, I teach music.
Cool.
And then I do private lessons for an hour, and then from about 5 to 1 a.m. I'm doing podcast stuff, and then I go to bed and wake up at 7 the next day and start it
Wow.
again. And so trying to do everything. The doing two podcasts right now.
What?
I know. It's
Oh my
stupid. My
goodness.
friends have advised me against it, but see, I do. One is a leadership podcast that is called Leading Change. And that one is leadership based from students through CEOs, whatever you can get out of it,
Mhm.
if you're a leader of any kind. And then the other one is a teaching podcast called The Director's Podium. You know, that podium that teachers teach from.
Yeah.
So one is teaching based and one is leadership based, and I couldn't mold it down to one. I couldn't niche my way to one.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to do them both. And some of them, they do apply to both. So I can edit, and some kind of are posted on one and then edited to work for the other as well.
Mhm.
So it's like I can get 2 interviews out of one interview. So in one sense, it
Wow.
works really great, but it's a lot of work.
Oh, of course. Of
And it
course.
launches December 1st at leadingchange.com and thedirectorspodium.com. Podcasts are available on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and possibly Anchor. We'll see.
I'm so excited to check it out. That is amazing how you have 2, because I know what it's like to have just one. It's a handful. So it's great that you're being able to like manage your time and try to figure things out and also try to like provide for both really high quality content. So that's a really great accomplishment.
Not done yet. Not done yet. Nothing's accomplished yet.
Hey, I mean, it's a work in progress. As
Yep.
long as you're making little baby steps, that's all that matters.
Yep. And baby steps they are.
Baby steps are a lot better though. That's what I have to say, because I mean, if you focus on everything all at once, like you could even just be pushing this idea back forever until you feel ready, but how will you feel ready until you actually just start working your way little by little towards that goal?
Yeah. And what'll probably happen is it will be more constant for one of them, and the other one is, as it comes, as I get interviews for that. We'll see. We'll have to see what the traction is on either of them.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure it'll all come together.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a learning process. So, Adam, what advice can you give others who want to try to remain persistent and yet hopeful for their darkest moments that they may be facing right now? It could be the pandemic or just life as a whole.
Um, I guess for me, it is the hope is that this moment does not last forever. it just can seem like that.
Mhm.
And that works in both ways. If you're in love, that's the sad part. I mean, that it won't last forever, and
Yeah.
that it will end. But then in the despair that you feel sometimes, to remember that, again, this is just a part of life and it won't last forever. And there will be better days and there will be higher peaks and there may be lower valleys, but you don't want to miss out on those higher peaks because there's some wonderful people that you can meet along the way.
Oh, that's so beautifully well said. It's true. I mean, like those high peaks are everything. And even though you might be going through a rough time, it's only temporary and it's only something that hopefully passes right away and hopefully teaches you something by the end of it. But it's really like life is a journey. It's a crazy, wild ride every single day. So it's a matter of, still trying to be hopeful and really, really treasuring the good times.
Right. Yep. Totally
And
agree.
yeah. And why do you think people find it so easy to just give up on following their dreams?
Um, I don't think that it is easy to give up um on your dreams. For me, I don't know what else I would do. Um, because if I have a dream, then I have to see it out.
Mhm.
Um, and that I can understand how things might be easier and that you might not have stress, but I'm assuming that there are some things in life that we do need to give up on, or we do need to quit. I know that I've talked to some people that say that they give up one thing a month. They give up one thing that they don't need in their lives a month.
Mhm.
Um, and they're just trying to simplify. And so I think like, oh, that's kind of cool. But so in one sense that's good, but as far as like giving up on the good things, I don't see any other option. Um, and I know, even when I think about say suicide, as serious as that is,
Mhm.
I don't think they give up. I wouldn't define it as giving up, although it may seem like that to everybody else.
Mhm.
You can only see when you're in that of your mind, you do not see a tomorrow. You do not see past that moment. You can, I don't know if your listeners can imagine, but you literally can't see past today. So tomorrow doesn't matter.
Mhm.
And the pain is just immense. So that isn't easy. It just seems like an answer, and you're just trying to find an answer to not to me not being able to see beyond past the immediate.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess in one sense, I don't know if I answered your question, but the I don't think it's necessarily easy sometimes to give up. Sometimes you have to, but on the other side, I guess I can't really relate to giving up per se because that's just so counter to who I am.
Mhm. Wow, that's so inspiring that, you could be going through so much, but then having that inner power and being able to pursue on in life and push through the most difficult times, like that's very inspirational because unfortunately it's, like you mentioned how sometimes people can't see a tomorrow. They think like everything is just going to be dark. How can things get better? They don't necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel. And, even though those quotes are cheesy, it's kind of proving a whole point that it does get better. And we can't like give up on what could be, in our future and all that
Right.
we'll accomplish.
And what's the alternative? So if because I've tried to pack in so much in a day, and half of my time is spent trying to make a dream work. Well, actually, I mean, my whole day is spent trying to make a dream work, whether it's teaching, and that
Mhm.
was always a dream of mine, or doing a podcast and interviewing people, which is also a dream of mine. So if I give up on those, what am I doing instead? Am I just sitting
Mhm.
home and playing video games and stuff? Like that's just not satisfying to me.
Mhm.
So I think the alternative isn't worth even looking at. So if you feel like giving up, really think about that alternative because it's not as great as you think it is. It doesn't even compare to what you could experience if you continue and persist.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a reason why it's a dream, like of
Mhm.
yours, and there's a reason why you've wanted that goal to be achieved, and you want to like attain that part of your life, and you want to experience it right away, and perhaps it's not easy, but like to just toss that dream aside and, like you said, not know what else to fall back on, or just going to your regular life, there's no sense of purpose and value. You want to wake up every day loving what you're doing, and also knowing that you're like one step closer to where you want to be.
Right.
And in your case, it's been like, helping others, helping people, like even in your podcast, you have two in order to help two different audiences in a sense. And it's like interviewing people, all that, like the fact that your podcast can bring you that sense of purpose, as mine does for me as well. Like it's great to be able to see and feel like you're doing something that is helping and that is hopefully impacting other people, because I mean that automatically gives you like a sense of purpose and belonging that you're doing something right.
Yeah. Totally
So
agree.
yeah, I mean that's something that people should always hopefully like, remind themselves of, and to keep pushing and keep trying to inch their way towards that goal. And do you agree with the quote, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it?
I was trying to find a way to not agree with it because I guess that's just who I am, that I don't like necessarily absolutes like that, but I
Mhm.
guess without being too contrarian, um, I would just change the word to respond. 10%, 90%. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it. Just
Mhm.
because react can be a very, I mean, it seems immediate,
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I don't think immediate reactions necessarily help you, but a response is thought out and it takes time,
Mhm.
and that is, what life is responding. Sometimes you got to react, but
Mhm.
generally, if you can slow that down and just respond rather than react, it tends to work out better for you.
Yeah, I didn't even see it from that point of view, like how reacting is just like impulsive almost.
Yeah.
And, versus responding where it's like you think about it, you process it, and then, you respond to a certain situation. So that that's genius that you that you like thought of it that way, and that you were able to, in a sense, agree in one part and then, disagree with another part of the quote, which, is good too, because I think that it's all how like we are responding to situations, like, and how we're handling our lives that way, and how we're just pushing through, and how we're actually behaving, or just our feelings, knowing like how we're feeling, and how like we might be feeling a lot stronger towards a certain situation, like all those things, like we had to take it in account. And it's great to be able to see and notice like how exactly you are responding to life, to life's biggest challenges.
And and one of the things I had thought about that question is, the I think that sometimes you hear that phrase when people are talking about your feelings,
Mhm.
and when something bad happens to you, pull yourself out of your feelings to move on. And I don't think that that's necessarily true.
Mhm.
If your dad dies, you know, you may be terribly upset, and you should be, and you can be that.
Mhm.
I don't think that when people say, like, you know, my dad died today, and you go, I'm like, well, life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react. So I mean, I'd be like, screw you, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm stuck in this. I can't get out of it right now. So I think
Yeah.
that's where respond. I mean, you can respond not to stay there,
Mhm.
but it is, you need to embrace those feelings when you feel that way.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you're just in therapy the rest of your life, like me.
Right. I mean, it's very difficult because I mean, you do have to have someone to validate how you're feeling and not having people tell you, "Oh, well, other people have it worse," like because that's not validating anything. It's not validating you and your situation, and it's not also empathizing with how you might be feeling, it's like a tragic it's like very tragic almost to deal with that, and it's also a completely different topic, but dealing with the loss and grief, it's a whole process that you kind of have to build yourself back up from scratch and try to mend the pain rather than forgetting and moving on. So I think that
Yep.
like it's so important to find those people that are able to really listen and can let yourself feel all the feelings and can encourage you to continue feeling that way, but to also being that support that you need in those dark times.
Yep. Absolutely. Totally agree.
And how can people successfully alter their perceptions of their reality?
I don't know. I don't know. That one was a tough one.
It's okay.
Uh, I don't know how you alter your perceptions of reality, because your reality is your reality to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, there, this really goes more into my story, but so in 2013, 2014, I started to have chest pains
Mhm.
as I was giving a piano lesson, and I almost felt like I was having a heart attack. And I had had open heart surgery when I was a baby, so I thought maybe it was my heart. So I went to the hospital, and they did a scan, and they said that it was your heart. That was their initial scan.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, shoot, like, oh no, like they had heard a murmur, and I was like, I don't have a murmur, I shouldn't.
Mhm.
And so uh they gave me some stuff, and they couldn't really do anything for me other than observe. And so eventually life went on, and about a week later, you know, I mean, I was back at school the next day and whatnot, but a week later, I started to lose my ability to walk. And it was crazy, like, because I was like, I still having chest pains. I
Mhm.
went to the hospital again a couple days later, and for this chest pains again. And then, not long after that, I was losing my ability to walk. And so one doctor put me, they said it might, they did some tests at one of the best hospitals in the world. They said, we can't figure out what it is. Actually, it's not that uncommon from what happens usually. I mean, people think that when you come here, you get answers, but actually, more often than not, we don't have the answers. And I
Mm.
was like, well, if you don't have the answers, you probably shouldn't charge me for not having the answer. Anyways,
Right,
so
right.
So then they suggested I go to a neurologist because
Mhm.
they thought it could be fibromyalgia. So I go to the neurologist and she prescribes me some stuff for nerve pain. And I'm still battling with not being able to walk. I feel a little bit better. And somebody suggests that maybe it's anxiety. Maybe your anxiety is causing you to not be able to walk or doing something in your brain that's making you not feel or think like you can walk. I don't know.
Mhm.
But they put me on anti anxiety medicine. So, what I didn't know that I eventually did find out was that you could not combine those two medicines. But I didn't know that. I
Oh
mean, there were
my
two different
goodness.
doctors that put me on that, and I didn't know that they would actually activate each other's side effects.
Oh
And
no.
these side effects were hallucinations. Um, Eventually, I started to have seizures, and but when these hallucinations were happening, I mean, oh man, I thought that like Jesus was coming back, and I was just like, and I was seeing signs everywhere I looked, and it was my reality. I mean, to get
Mhm.
back to your question, like the reality was what I was experiencing. Now, my then at the time fiance, that was not her reality. And so that was kind of freaky to her because we had two different realities going on.
Mhm.
And then like it got so bad where I like thought I could fly. Like it was getting to the point
Mhm.
where, oh man, like didn't know what was going on. And of course, at the time, we didn't know it was because of these combination medications. Just thought I lost my damn mind, or I thought I was having an epiphany because I thought I was seeing reality while she was just not seeing it.
Mhm.
And then um, it got to that point where I thought I could fly, and she said that she was going to go stay with her sister who lived fairly close to where we were at the time. And I lost it. And I just started bawling. And I grabbed a knife and at, she was upstairs. And at that point, I'm bawling and I have a knife and I'm over the sink. And um, I felt like God was saying to me, Adam, you can't take your own life. Only I can take a life. And
Wow.
I mean, I was hallucinating at the time, so who knows? Maybe, but it sure helped me. It sure helped me
Yeah.
at the time.
It
Um,
was definitely a sign, a
yes,
really
it
powerful
was,
sign.
which is crazy because the moment that that knife touched my skin,
Mhm.
and I heard that, she was getting ready upstairs, and at that moment, she said, "Adam," and she called Adam, "Are you okay, Adam?" And she just came sprinting down the stairs. And
What?
I know, and I was like, it was crazy. Like she sensed that there was because I was bawling. I mean, how would she have known that? I mean, she was this is insane. And so she called the police. She took the knife. She thought I was gonna hurt myself. I wasn't because I felt like God just talked to me. Anyways, so it that's when they took me into the hospital and they found out that it was the psychiatrist on call that had looked at my medications and said, "Whoa, you cannot be on these. Do you understand what this is doing to you?" So they had to like detox me. And they
Wow.
said that if I would have continued taking those two medications, I would have died because it was too much serotonin for my body. And there's a thing called serotonin syndrome. And
Oh my
so they put me in the
gosh.
hospital, and she brought me some clothes and whatnot. And I tried calling her after, like, I was still in the hospital, and I tried calling her and she wouldn't answer. And I got out that day. They're not supposed to just let you go, but I said like I had a cab waiting for me, and I didn't. I just said a cab was waiting for me outside, and so then I walked home, and house was empty. She was gone. and there was a ring in my backpack, our engagement ring.
Oh.
And it was but my reality didn't change for like a year or two. Like it took me because what you experience in that time, whatever you're going through, and you don't know if it's your fault. Like, I wouldn't say it's your fault, but you feel like it is reality. And so then when you transition out of that and you start to like study psychosis and what that is and how you move past it, you still are trying to negotiate in your mind how you could experience something that felt so real and
Mhm.
yet be so off now that you're on the other side of it.
Mhm.
And I've never like I still try to figure that out, and I don't know. I know that it cost me dearly in one sense because it cost me my fiance essentially. But at the same time, I learned that it was a great in one sense it was a great test because you do not want to be married and have kids or whatever and then she leaves. At least she did
Yeah.
it at the right appropriate time. So I would say, how can people successfully alter their perceptions of their reality? Make sure that you're healthy. Make sure that you are on the right medications. Um, it was a freak accident what happened to me, but generally to talk to people and make sure that if you think that you're seeing things that they aren't, um, you have to at least consider that you may be wrong, that not
Mhm.
everything is a conspiracy theory. And if you're seeing something that they aren't seeing, is that a red flag for you, not them? Because at the time you think it's them that they're not seeing it. You got to look at yourself in the mirror very closely and accept that you may need some help. And
Mhm.
being willing to ask for help is a huge part of being able to accept reality.
Wow, Adam, that is incredibly inspiring. And I'm so happy that you were able to confide in us and share your story because I think that it'll help so many people. Like, just see, how low someone can be feeling. And, like, even if like that was like a complete hallucination where you heard God's voice, like it doesn't even matter at that point because you still heard it, like it still like triggered you to stop. It still somehow triggered your ex-fiance to you know come check up on you. And it's like those signs that are really unexplainable, how closely they are tied to just like saving your life and like keeping you from harming yourself. And especially with the medications that the doctor was able to tell you, like that was in no way, shape, or form the best combination of medication together. It's the fact that she even said that it's like really, really bad and it can almost be like life threatening. That itself just shows you how much, one, it's like a miracle that you're here, and it's like amazing that you are because you can share your story. But it's also like having like that hope that something brought you to get the help that you needed, to go see the doctor, to get detoxicated, and to be able to flush out all of the medications, like all of that like crazy combination that was happening in your body, and to finally be able to get back to your regular self. And it's unfortunate that it did affect your relationship, but like you said, it's better that it happened back then versus like when you guys were married, having kids, and having to deal with that. In a sense, like going your separate ways with kids is very, very difficult, I can imagine. So I just find it so incredible that you were able to speak on that, and in a way you did kind of alter your reality in a sense because your perception was um trying to I I guess like the perception was the way you were seeing things at that moment. um Disregarding like the hallucinations, it was like your own reality, like you mentioned, and um altering that was just you getting help and then you finally being able to be on the other side and to feel yourself again. And that's what the importance of it is that you were able to get back on your feet. And of course it's going to hurt, no longer being in a relationship, but I hope and it seems that you have like learn something from that experience as a whole, which is all that people can do is just learn from what happens.
Right. And I mean, if I don't learn something, then, that's where despair can really sink in because then and it did affect my relationship with God because my whole hallucination was spiritual based. And
Mm,
so I had such a hard time negotiate. I mean, spirituality in general is hard to perceive in reality,
mhm,
and then to go through all that and zoom away, and you still are supposed to have faith in God,
mhm,
and that He did. You know, I believe that He there was something, even if it wasn't Him, that made her know at that moment that something
mhm.
was happening.
Yeah.
Um, it's so I don't think he would want me to take my life.
Mhm,
But then I struggle with, well, then why did he do it? Why did he could have stopped it all earlier. He could have
mhm.
I didn't have to go through any of that. Um,
Yeah.
but I don't know that, and I don't know the answer to that. So I just have to learn the best I can from what I've gone through, and hopefully it helps other people know that um, wow, freak accidents can happen, and I'm doing really well in my life right now. I'm
Mhm,
happy. I'm content. I have um, a nice place that I live. I'm doing what I love. I have my dogs, so there is a brighter future out there,
mhm,
even if you're going through some tough times.
mhm. I think that the fact that you said that like in that moment it was more spiritual, like I'm also a very very spiritual person, so just the fact that you said that it's something that you couldn't have proven to anyone, like, oh yes I heard this voice, but like people are gonna think what they want. But it doesn't matter because like at the end of the day it's like what you like how you perceived it in that very moment of vulnerability, and the fact that you had such a powerful and like experience, um interaction even, like just hearing those words and the fact that you still remember those words like has to mean something, like like it definitely has to mean something. And I think that it's a beautiful thing that it was able to get you to that to the help that you needed. And sometimes we always question like, but if this was my path, then why, like isn't God supposed to love me, or any higher power, aren't they supposed to protect me at the end of the day? But, maybe this was just a rough little lesson right there where it allowed you to be independent and, do things for yourself, your podcast, and just thinking about whether you would even start a podcast if you were still in a relationship. Like those things, those events that happen to us, like they happen for a reason and they definitely help us get to where we need to be in that exact moment. And now you're happy and you're doing great things with your podcast. So I think that even though like it is hard to pinpoint exactly the reasoning, like it's always important to be able to just trust the process with everything. And I'm glad that you're in a
Absolutely.
much happier place.
Yep, me too. Me too.
I can imagine. I can imagine. But it's great to be able to now be healthy and to appreciate it more because there are so many things that we take for granted every single day, whether it's people, whether it's your health, and it's just important for us to like tune in and appreciate our own bodies because like in instances like this it really shows you how much your health means to you in your life, so especially to everyone around you as well. So
Mm.
I'm just glad that you're doing a lot better, and I know you're relieved. But it's good to be able to like put that in the past and then also learn from that experience as a whole. Um Now, what would you say was the most difficult time in your life where it seemed almost impossible to keep pushing forward? Would it say this particular instance where you were having like difficult health complications?
Was this most difficult time in my life? No. I mean, I wish that'd been easy. No, it was the first time that this girl and I had broken up.
Mhm.
Um, my ex fiance, we had broken up, and it was its own story. But in a sense, it was. I just felt such despair because I had probably never loved anybody like that,
Mhm.
and I just did not. I mean, it was just I didn't. I was just struggling for months afterwards,
Mhm.
and the only thing that changed it was I hadn't heard anything from her in months, and um, I had walked in my house, and there was uh, like a box of my stuff there, and it wasn't there when I left, and I was just like, huh. And so I looked at it, and it was a letter from her. And she said that she had been trying to contact me, and I guess I changed my number just because I'd gotten a different phone.
Mhm.
And I wasn't checking my emails, which I'm terrible at checking my emails. So
Mhm.
it looked like I was avoiding her, but really I was just terrible at life. And so that color, like I don't know how to explain it,
Mhm.
but at that moment it was like there was color in my life again. Like I realized that I'd been seeing black and white for a long time. I mean, especially really dark black and white for the past 4 months of that. And at that moment, I could see color and I was alive again. Like it literally felt like I was finally alive again. Um, so that was the thing that brought me out of it. Otherwise, I don't know how it would happen. And then, when all this happened back in 2014, it didn't hurt as bad, probably because I was still trying to get off that medication and was feeling pretty good, pretty bold, and things didn't hurt me as bad. Um, but yeah, it was just trying to. The first time was the toughest. Second time wasn't so bad. I went
Yeah.
through it once before, and I had some. What helped me through is I had some amazing friends that let me sleep in their attic for a few days, maybe as a week after we broke up. And I had my house. I just couldn't go back. I
Mhm.
needed to be by myself, or I needed to be around people because I just felt so despaired. And I didn't really know them incredibly well,
Mhm.
but he was a good friend and she was his girlfriend at the time, and they were just so great. And
Mm.
that's probably been the constant through all of my struggles is I've had some amazing people that have helped me through, that have been very understanding. Um, when I was um, going through all that in 2013, 2014, my dad, after it was all done, was just very understanding and just trying to hear me out. And he didn't accuse me of being crazy or anything like that. He just listened, and I'll always be appreciative of that. And then these people before that, when I had broke up, uh, when we had broke up, it was their ability to listen and just help me was fantastic. And those people come and go in and out of your life, and those are your angels. If you wonder
Mhm.
where are angels in this world, those are those angels. I don't know if they're real angels, but they are pretty darn close to it.
Wow, Adam. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Like just everything that you've been saying and just the fact that you um said that in a way like she brought color into your life and even when she was no longer there your friends were the ones that were picking you back up and that really showed you and cared for you and showed you that like you can get through this and that they're there every step of the way and helping you cope like that's like unexplainable like it's priceless and I think that people really are placed in our lives for a reason and whether that was for her to bring color back into your life and then for for your friends to show you that they can shed the light in your life and help you be yourself again like that's so incredible and especially like your family as well teaching you that they're always there and supporting you and showing how much they care so it's great to be able to rely on people and they are like angels because in a sense like they know you're hurt and then they're still helping you every step of the way and even if you don't even believe in yourself that like you can get through this because in that time it can feel like the pain can feel really really hard to experience and deal with but it can seem almost impossible to get over it. But having those people that love you so much and that, really do care about your well-being and that will do anything to show you that. That's really what a good or an amazing actually, an amazing support system really comes into play and can teach you that they're always going to have your back no matter what and that can be the most beautiful thing that there is.
And and I would be r- remiss to say, I don't know if that's how you use that word, but if I would, make a mistake if I didn't say how great I've had like three really great therapists in my life.
Mhm.
Just in like the past 8 years.
Mhm.
No, probably 15 years, probably 15 years. And I haven't always been in therapy, but on and off, when I feel like I'm struggling with something. And that is so important. Like,
Yes.
I really encourage people that it may be hard for you to find therapy. Like, right now, I live in a place that our closest mental health professionals are like 200 and some miles away.
Oh, wow.
But with COVID right now, like you can do telehealth
Mhm.
and you can, talk with somebody over the computer and it works too. Like it's
Mhm.
available. We have way more opportunities for you to find people that will help you than we've ever had before.
Mhm. Wow. And yeah, I mean, I think that I like that you brought that up as well because, sometimes life is just too hard for us to deal with it on our own and we can rely on our support system, but it's also like trying to figure out how to like internally heal for ourselves and our well-being. And I've also been to therapy as well, and that's when I knew that like I needed that extra support. I knew I had like a great support system already, but I just wanted the validation and professional help that can really give me all the tips and tricks that I needed to apply in my life. And I also found that it's very beneficial, and especially right now too, like it sucks that your therapist is so far, but during the pandemic, like it's great that we can just, virtually see someone and be able to talk about how we're feeling and all that. Like all those things are so important. And I think that like when people mention therapy and actually seeking help, it's like there's a stigma attached to it, and that's why like I like to bring it up, in conversations like this where we can just, take that stigma away and encourage people to get the help, because everyone should get the help that they need and that they deserve. And being able to talk to someone and being able to rely on their help, and also just feeling comfortable to, in a sense, like prioritize yourself and your well-being, that's a great thing. And it, if anything, it shows signs of strength rather than what people normally think that it shows, which is weakness. And I think that it's already like difficult to make that hard step and to make your first appointment, and it may be nerve-wracking when you first meet them, but I mean, just trusting that you're going to heal and that you're in the right place with the right person is all that you can do to keep on growing.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were relying on internal or external motivation during those difficult times?
I don't know. I don't know if being in love is internal or external. That's its own topic, I guess. But it, I know that was a key motivation. It helps to try to be your best for somebody else.
Mhm.
When they rely on you.
Mhm.
Um, and now for me, it's almost all internal. So maybe that was external because I feel like it's very much internal now.
Oh, that's good. That's really great when you can, find that hope within yourself versus relying on someone else to give that to you.
You
And
know, and I don't think external motivation is bad.
yeah, not
Um,
at all.
no, and I deal with kids all day, and we're trying to find ways to motivate them.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's candy, and sometimes it's maybe seem like things that are external, but the key word is not internal, external. The key word is motivation, and
Yeah.
getting people motivated the way you do things. But yeah, and I think internal motivation grows as you get older.
Yeah, that's very true because you start learning more about yourself and you know what you want, and then that kind of drives you to try to achieve that goal and to keep pushing. But like you said, like especially being a teacher and having those like, candies for reward, like all those external things can also help increase their performance. So it's never a negative thing when it's actually helping them want to be better and challenge themselves along the process. And why is it so important for others to never give up on their dreams?
Well, if they're good dreams, if and I think there are good dreams, bad dreams.
Mhm.
But if they're good dreams, then they're probably helping people. And if you give up, then you're not helping people.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why you shouldn't give up because you can help people if you don't.
I love that. And yeah, I mean, it's important to be able to keep being persistent and keep trying to do what you want to do at the end of the day, because you only have one life, and it's important for you to be doing exactly what you want. And what is your favorite quote that stuck with you in your darkest moments? Or even like a favorite song?
Oh, a, a Case of You by Joni Mitchell, but sung by James Blake. Oh, that that song. It just got me through so much. I've listened to that probably over 1,000 times.
Really?
It's so good. Yeah, that just that um idea that there is more to live for, and that um it's called A Case of You, and essentially being intoxicated by someone.
Mhm.
And I think that keeps you moving forward, even if you don't always find it. That feeling, that unbelievable feeling is worth moving forward for.
Yeah, wow. I need to listen to that.
Oh,
I
don't do it tonight. It'll
Oh my
wreck it. It'll wreck your night.
I love songs that like that though, that like tell a story, because I don't know where I heard this, but we I heard that like we actually start paying attention to song lyrics when we're like going through our own emotions and we're going through a rough time, and that's when we really sit down and start listening what these talented artists have to say. And then like, I love when a song can make you cry because it's saying so many beautiful things, and I just find so much inspiration in that. So like I definitely think I should. I will listen to it, but maybe not tonight because I have work tomorrow. But I'll
Yeah,
just be
you don't
like
want to call
entering
in.
work just like with my runny eyes, my red eyes, all like swollen from the
Yep.
tears.
You walk in and they go, "Case of You, huh? Yeah, gotcha. Know what that's like. Been there. Been there."
Or even worse, they'll blame it on Corona and send me home.
Oh yeah, she's got COVID. Nope. Case of you. Case of you, not a case of COVID. Yeah. Um the I would say though that maybe I could change that question just a tiny bit to what was your favorite activity that
Mm,
uh
okay.
got you out of that. And I wrote a lot of songs, and
Oh.
that really did help heal.
Mhm.
um that, yeah, 2 years 3 years later they don't sound any good, but at the
Oh,
time
I'm
they
sure they
helped
sound
me.
perfect.
Yeah, but it was a good therapy writing your own
Yeah.
songs. And so again, even if you aren't good at it, maybe poetry would help. If you can't
Mhm.
find the words to help you, then you create the words that will help you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. Because I mean, there has to be something that you can just vent all of your feelings, all of your thoughts, just like put it on paper, record it. And that in a sense is its own therapy, because you can really listen back and then you can grow from that. So I love that you were inspired to write your music, and just to get you through, which is all that you needed in that point.
Right.
So Adam, where can everyone find you?
School. But other than that, you can go to have different school websites now popping in my mind, but not those. You could go to leadingchange.com when this comes out. You can find podcasts there. You can also go to Director's Podium if you're into education and want to hear stuff about that. You can also go to find me on Instagram, or I never use it, but I'm gonna try. Twitter or Facebook or whatever if you want to connect, and I'd love to help or just chat if you ever want. Whoever else is listening.
Yeah, I know I'll definitely have to check that out because I love being able to stay connected and I'm so excited for your podcast to come out already.
Oh yeah, the director's podium. That did I say that in the one? I didn't remember, but the
I think so.
directorspodium.com. Yeah.
Yes. I'll
So you
be
can find those
checking
on
all that out.
Spotify or iTunes and YouTube.
Perfect. And for my listeners out there listening, or maybe even watching, I will be including all of his details down below where you can just connect with him, follow him, and just support his amazing journey. He has 2 podcasts, so you have to love at least one. Adam, I really do appreciate us having this chat and to really getting to know you and your incredible story. I can already tell how strong you are, and I'm just so happy that you're healthy and that you're here to share your story for everyone and that you're helping everyone in the process.
You can also probably catch me on COD Mobile, Call of Duty Mobile. I play all the time. So if you're ever playing with somebody that you feel like is holding back your team, you might just say, Adam, is this you? Are you playing now? And I'll say, yep, it's me.
Oh man, I'll have to tell my boyfriend to, to play with
Yep,
you.
tell him to log on. I'll
Yes.
totally game with him.
Perfect. Sounds like a deal. So, everyone, I really hope this podcast made you smile at least once. Stay tuned for more advice and positivity next Friday. As always, it's Myra. I hope you guys have such a beautiful day, and most importantly, we're able to find such bigger hope, a lot of hope, a lot of motivation, internal, external, whatever it is, it will really help you in so many ways. And I really hope that you also were able to take something away from Adam's inspirational story and realize that your past, despite anything, it never has to define your future. And keep following your dreams, keep pushing forward, and don't give up on them. Bye.